So I haven't had a chance to record anything since I've been back, but I wanted to go ahead and do another Kickstarter showcase. I was able to fall asleep, so I figured this is a good time to go ahead and do something positive at that time. So this is one I'd really like to back, but I'm trying to be very judicious in what I back. At one point, when my collection was really growing, there was a lot of intense stuff going on in my life, and I was compulsively buying things. It's still my responsibility, of course. It's not meant to get me off any sort of hook, but it's more to say the positive thing, at least at the moment, I seem to be able to be a little more able to control my impulses, so that's good. So anyway, it's a bunch of personal information you don't need to know. So today's Kickstarter showcase is a Grieving Tarot, exploring tarot through a lens of loss, 78 card deck and book exploring your relationship with tarot while navigating grief. It's actually already reached its funding goal. I reached it, I think, within 24 hours, so it will be made. So if you back the project, just know that it will definitely be made. This creator has a number of other decks, like the Creatures Oracle, the Creatures Tarot, like Everybody's Oracle. Some of hers are some of my favorite decks, but she lost her father, I think, last year, and you can tell this has been helping her. Well, she can go into it. I don't need to put words in her mouth. Anyway, she lost her father. She's creating this deck. So let's go ahead and go through and read through this, because this is an ASMR video. FYI, if you like her decks, some of them are out of print. Some of them she's reprinting, but I'll put the link to her website so you can go ahead and see. Here's her information, Sara, Kathleen. And as you can see, she's a veteran creator. And usually people like that, they're going to be pretty good at getting things in a timely manner. Obviously, there's always issues, especially in current world, but she's based in the UK. So it says, welcome to a Grieving Tarot, a deck that gently examines tarot's soul equivalence of loss. When my father died in late 2024, I turned to my creativity for support. I have created several tarot and oracle decks over the last few years, which I have found deeply meaningful and therapeutic. When I lost my dad, I began drawing these cards because my other tarot decks weren't speaking to me the way I wanted. I wanted my grief to be the center of the conversation and not something I was wishing away. I wanted to see my losses gently highlighted, with the hopes muted. This deck was born from that experience. The Grieving Tarot is absolutely not a how-to guide for using tarot through all losses. These drawings and my words are not here to tell you how to live your own wilds of personal grief. It is simply a gentle reflection of my own experiences and interpretations as I've walked my own gray path. It is my hope that it finds the right people and that maybe it could be a gentle way to introduce more grief-informed perspectives to your readings. About the artwork. All artwork was done by me lovingly over the last 9 months. The artwork is done digitally via Procreate, with absolutely no AI involved. All of the writing is my personal handwriting, aside from the contents of the guidebook. None of my other decks have ever featured humans, but this one features a small, plain, genderless figure on every single card. Even in the cards that typically feature more than one figure, I've gone out of my way to reimagine the artwork using this one lonely figure. The Three of Cups is a perfect example of this, with the figure connecting to a plant rather than a person. In the Three of Pentacles, about collaboration, there are birds and mountains. The Lovers features the figure connecting to a little plant rather than a person. I wanted the figure to be alone on each card, which reflects the loneliness of loss. As a passionate nature lover, nature has been my community, especially when people cannot be, and so that is reflected in many places throughout the deck. The messages. My grief-focused interpretations still generally align with the standard tarot reading, and I don't completely turn everything around on its head for the sake of it, but changes gently as the perspective. The 3 cards shown above are a good example of this. The 4 of Pentacles is about keeping resources to yourself, often suggesting greed or lack of sharing. My interpretation suggests it's a good thing, keeping energy to ourselves, focusing inward rather than outward, and keeping our one self as our focus rather than other people's important. In healing work, this can be necessary. Take a break from constant giving and aim it inward. You aren't being selfish. The 5 of Pentacles traditionally suggests grief and loss, but often with the suggestion that hope and comfort are being ignored, or that hope is there and we should be focusing on it instead of following its sadness. But in this deck, I suggest that misery is absolutely sometimes where we should be. Hope and comfort just aren't always accessible, and that's the truth of it, and it isn't our fault. Hope is still there, and this card I draw in the stars, but we are allowed to feel grief without beating ourselves up for not being positive enough. The Fool speaks of new beginnings, but these can be so bittersweet. Death brings beginnings we did not ask for, ones that bring heartache along with every happiness. I suggest compassion for ourselves, always, always compassion for the guilt, resentment, and resistance we might feel to newness right now. Yes, a new beginning is here. No, we didn't ask for it. So let's allow that complicated response in how we move forward. These are not the word-for-word interpretations in the guidebook, but the essence is the same. In the guidebook, each card has 2 to 3 sentences offering up my interpretation. Purposely brief, I hope this allows the reader freedom to add their own layers of meaning. About the deck. Don't need to go into that. You can read about that if it ends up being something you want, because it's a little more about like card size and what the box is like. Here's information on add-ons, so if you don't have her other texts but you are interested in them, she says, because I do my own fulfillment, I aim all my parcels to be under 12 kilograms. This means I have to limit the number of texts that are sold as add-ons. I cannot include all of my previous published texts. The best-selling features texts are available in this campaign as itemized below. And so these are the add-ons. You can add on priority, so that you're the first one of shipping and of tracking. You can add a crystal pouch. She's also written a book called You Died and I Hated It, and it will be a signed limited run first printing of her first book. You can add the Creatures Tarot 2nd edition. You can add the Creatures Oracle. You can says, "Oh, this is cool. I've never seen someone do this. You're anonymously gifting a copy of this deck for someone who cannot afford it, which I manage privately. This is really nice. You can also do a custom card that she will design for you. There's some information now about the book. You died and I hated it. I've been making this book for over 10 years, and because it deals so specifically with grief and loss, felt like the right time to finally give it a little nudge and do a little soft launch as an accompaniment to this deck campaign. This book is not an autobiography, a self-help book, or even a story, nor is it even remotely a suggestion of how you might navigate your own wild, unique grief. It's simply a reflection of mine. This small, raw, unusual little book is slightly more like a journal, filled with artwork that reflects pinpoints in time I experienced during my own grieving journeys. It contains a collection of drawings I created over many, many years as I coped with the deaths of several people I absolutely adored. I am only printing copies of this book that have been pre-ordered and will not carry it in my shelf. I may get published in a broader way one day, but not for now. For now, this is intentionally a small, self-published, limited release. All copies will be signed. There's a pre-order on my website as well, running during the duration of this Kickstarter campaign for anyone who wants the book but not the deck. And G gives you information about how to find more pictures of the book. As I usually do, I'm not really going to go into the shipping of the moment, just because, again, it's really only useful to you if you end up wanting to back the deck. Then, obviously, if you're paying attention to the news, tariffs, especially if you're in the United States, but really anywhere in the world, all kinds of crazy stuff going on, so keep that in mind. So that could change fees, shipping fees. She typically, this is useful. She ships priority, so that was one you could pay for. Then the UK, then the EU, then Australia, then the rest of the world. Yeah, she put them in ground and found the United States. And so, just so you know, where you are, kind of where you are in the queue. All items are tracked, and then here's information about her. Hi, my name is Sara. I live in the Cotswolds in England. I'm a tree lover, a passionate pagan and nature lover, and live a bit on the hermit side of things. I've been selling my artwork for over 18 years now. In 2022, I began to focus more on illustration, particularly tarot decks. I started off just wanting to make something for myself, something simple and accessible, but then it turned out a lot of other people wanted the same thing. Everybody's Tarot was my first deck, and since then I've arranged 4 other tarot decks, including this one, and 2 oracle decks, selling over 3,500 decks so far. My other decks are available on my website, subject to stock. When they go out of print, I restock as soon as I can. I still do pyrography and other artwork too. Post a lot in my Facebook group where I have an annual pay what you can afford sale, sneak peeks of new ideas and new decks, and just generally share a lot of what I make. There is a link to the group and also newsletter fun on the connect page on my website. That's also where my shop is. Other ways to contact me are on Instagram or Threads under the username Sara Kathleen UK. I do have a YouTube channel, but only for practical reasons, and I don't spend much time there. Thank you, and finally thank you. This has been a very emotional creation for me, and a sort of surprising one. I hadn't intended to make another tarot deck, but in some ways, I feel like the artwork I make sort of makes itself, and this just really wanted to happen. I don't take any support I get for granted, and I think I've got the best supporters and customers around. So thank you for reading this far, and for just being around. And she has pictures of everything. Let me see it. Oh, yeah, So here are the majors, especially like Discord. This one's a good one. They're all good ones. It seems it's a very different kind of deck in my mind. And just like Grieve, very self-focused, and I mean that both, but not like negative, but like positive and not so great ways. I feel like when you talk about grief, you can't really talk about positive or negative. It's just the positive's not quite positive and the negative's not quite negative, so I'm just gonna not talk about it. So this is the Wands. This is the Cups. Oh, this is cute. I like the Queen of Cups. Oh, I guess I'll hold them like that. The Swords. The Pentacles. And then Risk and Challenges. Those are things you can read. You know, if you decide to back it, I mean, I've never seen this one time submissions even out TMK puzzles or so yeah, you know, there are things that are out of the creator's control. So this is a Grieving tarot. Like I said, I'd love to back it, but at this point I don't think that's a possibility. I do hope that once it comes in our shop, maybe it's something I make it for Christmas or something like that. But anyway, I would recommend if you like it, go back it, because all her other decks have been wonderful. The one thing I would say is some of them she has guidebooks for, and they've been great, and then others are more like just like suggestions and such for me to tell from her description here. It sounds like this guidebook might be more guidebooky, but I'm not sure. So if guidebooks, you find them sort of necessary, or you just really want to make sure you have one, keep that in mind. So it does come with a guidebook, but you might want to, one of the great things about Kickstarter, you can write the creator before before the project ends, so that can help you decide. So you might write her and say, hey, can you tell me more about that? Someone else might have already written her. You'll notice here there's an FAQ, or common questions look and answered. And this comment section is where you can leave comments for the creator. And I believe you can also message them directly, but usually the comments is a good place to start, because I'm sure when you have a question, other people have a question. But as you can see, there's still a lot of time to go. And yeah, it's a Grieving tarot. I recommend it. There's a bunch of other Kickstarters that will be coming out soon, or in the next couple of months, that I'll highlight. But this is this for now. So I hope you got something out of this today. I hope you go and check